Ben, we love you like a brother, but bro, what the hell are you doing? So, of course, I'm talking about Ben Shapiro. It's another journalist behaving badly episode. No, not Ben Shapiro. But Ben Shapiro has come out. There's an article at The Hill I want to share with you. But Ben Shapiro has come out, and he's made the suggestion that maybe there were some things in the Derek Chauvin case that didn't jive, and perhaps Trump should give him a federal pardon. So the runaway media, they have their pennies in a wad over this. They are twisting themselves in knots over what Ben's suggesting. Article here by Michael Levin, or is it Levine? I think he's at Tufts University. He's an opinion contributor, by the way, didn't you know? Well, I contribute my opinion every day here on the channel, whenever I post a video. So let's get into this, and if you're new to the channel, no fancy graphics, epic soundtracks, pretty boy camera angles, and that's the other thing. So Ben Shapiro comes out, he launches, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. I think it was yesterday. He launches this series, The Case for Derek Chauvin, and he's got the dramatic music. Ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, 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 ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-bum, bum. Really? And he's seen the light. Ben Shapiro has seen the light. Now, I will agree with you. I think there are some things in this case that we weren't told. Some things were hidden from the public. I think that was the same thing with Rodney King. Cases like Michael Brown, you name it. But just aside here, I think the real tragedy in all this, in all seriousness, I think the real tragedy is it seems like George Floyd and Trayvon Martin or Freddie Gray, take your pick, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, that they are just martyrs for the moment to be used by these people for whatever the cause is, in the name of social and racial justice. And I've said this numerous times here on the channel. Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Castro, they believed in racial and social justice. Oh yeah. They took down statues, they burned books, they cleaned their society, or cleansed the society of all the unwanteds. So you should be very careful, you ultra-left activists out there, when you start throwing around terms like social or racial justice. Because we've seen this storyline, we've seen this plot line before. So let's get into this article. Take a sip of my coffee here. I ate some I ate coffee, okay? Yes, I just take the coffee grounds, I stuff it in my mouth, and I just eat the coffee. I just need the caffeine. Grind those suckers up. Who needs a coffee grinder? I can use my teeth to do it. So at any rate, no, I had some ice cream before I did the video. So note to self, don't eat any dairy products or ice cream before doing a YouTube video. There, check that off my list. So at any rate, let's get to this article again by Michael Levin, or is it Levine? Tufts University, I believe it is. Pardon Derek Chauvin, not on your life, Mr. President. Now listen to how this is written. And you want to talk about bias. This is a journalist. I believe he's part journalist here. This is a journalist behaving badly. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. So he starts out. It's one thing to paint over the Black Lives Matter mural on the streets of Washington, D.C., it's quite another to paint over the murder of George Floyd, which Ben Shapiro is proposing and Elon Musk is apparently supporting. Well, I don't think it's just Ben Shapiro. I think you have other people who are questioning what happened in that case. I have my questions about what happened in all these cases, as we all should. Shapiro said that President Trump should issue a pardon for Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who kneeled on Floyd's neck until Floyd died, for the federal charges to which he pleaded guilty. Now, here's where things go off the rails. In the third paragraph, Michael Levin makes no bones about this here, okay? Makes no bones about this. So, third paragraph in, he shows his bias. He's admitting it here. He is not hiding it one bit. He is proud to let you know that he wrote a book with Angela Harrelson, Floyd's aunt, and his closest relative in Minneapolis. Lift your voice, how the murder of my nephew George Floyd changed the world, so perhaps I see the situation with a little more clarity than Shapiro does. Really, Mr. Levin? If you saw with clarity, you would take a step back and look at all sides of this and go back and investigate what happened in this case. Did you do that? Probably not. Shapiro makes 3 arguments for the pardon. The first is that Chauvin was not the proximate cause of Floyd's death. Floyd, Shapiro argues, died of an unrelated heart ailment. Excuse me? If someone kneels on my neck for 9 minutes, I'm going to die of something. This is such sophomoric writing. It's such sophomoric writing. Second, Shapiro says society was convulsed by the riots that followed. The rioting and looting after Floyd's murder is indeed indefensible. But here we go, folks. People smashing windows and grabbing oogs cannot be regarded as a proper civil protest. What are oogs? UGGS? Never heard that. New to me. But Chauvin had nothing to do with the protest. Wait, what? I thought that's why these people in Minneapolis and all these other cities were protesting. Because of the actions of Derek Chauvin, which, according to the article here, led to the death of George Floyd. But Chauvin had nothing to do with the protest. He committed a crime, and thank God he's doing the time. He doesn't get a pass for... Isn't that the old slogan from Beretta? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. He doesn't get a pass for what he did just because society went nuts afterwards. Well, nobody's calling for a pass here. I think Ben Shapiro is just raising a couple questions about, maybe this guy was overcharged. Maybe we should have maybe a partial federal pardon, if that makes any sense. Or some type of plea bargain where you meet these terms halfway. We'll look at A, B, or C and, reconsider X, Y, or Z, and then maybe lessen the sentence from there. Finally, Shapiro argues the jury was under intense pressure to return a guilty verdict for Chauvin, so the conviction should be overturned. First, the jury was sequestered, so how would it have known about societal pressures to convict? Second, if that's Chauvin's argument, he should make it on appeal. Now, I agree with that. He should appeal this. Chauvin should appeal this. Third, if the argument was rejected by an appellate court, game over. Well, he could take it to the Supreme Court. If it doesn't work in the appellate court, they reject it. Hello, Supreme Court. Take it to the Supreme Court, Mr. Levin. Now, if Trump were to pardon Chauvin, the state conviction would still stand, so the former cop wouldn't be seeing the light of day until the mid-2030s. It would simply get out a little sooner. So what are you bitching about here, Mr. Levin? So this federal pardon isn't going to affect his actions that happened or apparent actions in Minneapolis, because this was an incident that happened in Minneapolis in the state of Minnesota. So he would still have to serve out his term according to Minnesota state law. So what are you bitching about? But for Mr. Levin to come out and admit in the third paragraph of this article that he's working on a book with George Floyd's aunt, and then claim that he has more clarity than Ben Shapiro is total crap. And Mr. Levin knows it. He knows it. Now, it's somewhat of a lengthy article, so we'll just skip ahead here. According to Harrelson, Floyd's aunt, his mother told him not to come to Minneapolis. I guess there was a thing where he lived in Houston or something, and then he was going to move to Minneapolis, or he moved to Minneapolis. But Floyd's aunt, his mother, told him not to come. If he visited her in Houston's notorious Fourth Ward, she believed he would go back to drugs. So he didn't go. Convinced that his mother's illness wasn't fatal, apparently she was going through some type of illness at the time, she passed away, leaving Floyd, who was known as Perry, also his father's nickname, heartbroken. Floyd eventually lost his sobriety and returned to drugs. He was trying to pass a fake $20 bill when Chauvin put a knee to his neck. No, that's not how things played out. You just immediately, pass a $20 bill, and here comes Derek Chauvin. You passed a Confederate $20 bill and put my knee on your neck. That's not what happened at all. What happened was, according to the timeline, he passed the Confederate $20 bill. Did I say Confederate? I mean counterfeit. Well, nowadays that would still be considered, well, actually would be worth a lot of money if you had a Confederate $20 bill, if they had such a thing. But if he passed a counterfeit $20 bill, this is how it happened. The store owner, whoever it was, clerk, saw it, caught it, reported probably to their manager, probably went to go confront George Floyd about it, may have been acting kind of suspicious, so they called it into the cops. Then the cops came out. Then they tried to confront Mr. Floyd about it. Things escalated from there. But no, Mr. Levin. He was not passing a fake $20 bill when Chauvin put a knee on his neck. This interaction with the cop happened after he passed the counterfeit $20 bill. Get your facts right. Get your timeline right, Mr. Levin. It's very, very important. What Floyd did while drinking and using was indeed criminal behavior. What Floyd did while drinking and using, don't you think you should have put using drugs or fentanyl or heroin in there? Was indeed criminal behavior. He was no saint, but he had completed his sentence and returned to society seeking to be a better person. So let me get this straight. So passing a counterfeit $20 bill makes you a better person? I mean, let's assume that George Floyd didn't know it was a counterfeit $20 bill. Just thinking of all sides here, okay? Let's assume that it wasn't or that he didn't know it was a $20 counterfeit bill that he was trying to pass. Or that he had in his possession. But if he did know, how did he become a better person if he's trying to pass off a counterfeit $20 bill? Well, you see, he's black. See, he comes from the ghetto. He's down with the struggle as a brother. He just couldn't afford nice things. Couldn't afford a beer. Did he deserve to be murdered for passing a bad 20? Of course not. Well, I agree with that. No, absolutely not. And I think this procedure of putting your knee on somebody's neck or on their shoulder, I think that's a bad move. I don't think that was necessary. Okay, I think there was a different way you could have done this. But do any of Shapiro's arguments hold water? Not in the least. Well, maybe Shapiro has a point here. All Ben Shapiro is doing is saying, let's take a look at what happened in this case. Maybe this guy was overcharged. I have my doubts about what happened. Maybe there was some pressure here because we don't want to upset the angry mob. Well, the angry mob was already upset. I think either way they were going to riot. No matter what the verdict was in that case, I think they still were going to riot, in my humble opinion. Trump is walking a fine line these days with the black community, given his dismantling of... Now, here we go. He goes off the rails. He throws in, this is what these people do. They throw in 20 other topics that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. We're talking about Derek Chauvin's case, about his trial. I'm not talking about Trump here. Trump has nothing to do with Derek Chauvin. Trump was not in Minneapolis when this happened, this incident or this interaction happened between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. Mr. Levin. But Trump is walking a fine line these days with the black community, given his dismantling of DEI at the federal level. So now, dismantling DEI is the problem. See, you dismantle DEI, and you're going to have another George Floyd. It's your fault, Mr. President. It's your fault. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Levin. Did this incident between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, did that happen because of the Confederacy? Thought the Confederacy died 160 some odd years ago. But see, that's what they try to do. They try to make this connection between the Confederacy and Donald Trump and his dismantling of DEI and MAGA. Doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine drawing those dots, having people try to connect those dots? That would be one mess. You thought Duchamp's urinal, was bad? That shocked the world, shocked the public? Modern art? You thought that was bad? Wait till you see this diagram they have with it, where you have to connect the dots for this case here, according to Mr. Levin's logic. So Trump's walking this fine line with the black community, dismantling DEI at the federal level and in the private sector. Blacks and Latinos supported the president's re-election in record numbers, and many, according to reports, are supportive of his taking down of DEI because they see merit as the best way to get an education or a job. Exactly. That's how we should be looking at things, in the terms of merit. But if Trump were to pardon Chauvin, it would be a knee to the neck of black America, hoping that Chauvin pays the full price for what he did. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Levin, for showing your bias, for claiming in this article, journalists behaving badly, that you see things clearer than Ben Shapiro or anybody else because you're Michael Levin and you're writing at the Hill. How much did they pay you to write this article? Just curious. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Levin. Trump dismantling these DI programs, which have done practically, most likely, nothing to improve the lives of black Americans. How many people out there are millionaires because of DEI? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd really like to know how many of you are millionaires because of DEI. It's not happened, or this incident didn't happen between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd because of the Confederacy. This took place in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, which was never a Confederate state or part of the Confederacy. But you see the logic of these people? So I thought I'd share this with you. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, article, another episode, Journalists Behaving Badly. Article at the Hill by Michael Levin. Pardon Derek Chauvin. Not on your life, Mr. President. So if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes. Because I write music in my spare time, you can go to X, Culture Confederacy, Culture Confed 1 on X. Now you can find me at Substack. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing called the United States. I'll catch you next time, and y'all have a great Wednesday night. Take care.